What's up, noobs? I've never ever been interested in photo mode in games, but now that there's a game where I can essentially make the character look like me and see myself in a fantasy setting being badass, I'm suddenly super invested. Weird, huh? So yes, I'm definitely having too much fun with this right now. I love taking photos of myself battling foes, being cute, being raunchy, and in different scenes and outfits. So I thought I'd share some tips on how to take some epic photos in Dragon's Dogma 2. Okay, let's start with the subject. First, you have to think of what is a beautiful or funny scene to put your character in. Do you want a backdrop of beautiful scenery? Maybe stand on top of a building or ledge to get you off the ground and reveal more of the background. Want to take some badass photos? Consider pausing mid-action. This could be in the middle of a fight with blood splatters, while you're jumping through the air, or just while you're walking next to a cute NPC. Taking photos while characters are in motion adds more energy to the picture and often more interesting poses. But if your character is standing still, you can still add some dynamic energy through the camera angles. Either low angles, high angles, or tilting the frame helps too. The camera positioning in the DD2 photo mode is a little weird though. It seems like the main character is supposed to always be in the middle, but it kind of isn't. I wish there was a free camera mode here so you could frame the picture any way you want, but it is what it is. And as you know, one of the most important things to me is lighting. Try to think about what time of day you are taking photos. If it's later or earlier in the day, you're going to get nicer lighting than in the middle of the day when the light is harsher and from above. Or look for dappled lighting that is coming through the trees or light streaks through windows. That always creates interesting and beautiful atmospheres. You can also get lots of moody and cool pictures from inside palaces, houses, and caves too. Now let's go through the settings. I'm going to show you which settings you should use, and there are a whole bunch you can just ignore. The first tab is where you will zoom in and out and where you can tilt the frame. This one you'll use all the time. The second tab is depth of field. That is how much of the image that is in focus and how much is blurred, and that one I use a lot. I almost always add a bit of blur just because it looks more cinematic and it can also help you focus on the subject that you want to stand out. Focusing distance is moving in the Z-axis, so this is where you choose where in the image to place the focus. Focus area is how much you want to be in focus. If you take the slider all the way to the left, only a tiny little bit will be in focus and the rest is blurred, or if you take the slider all the way to the right, everything should be in focus. That's nice for landscape photos, for instance. But for something that is more like a portrait where you want the character to be in focus, you can blur the background with long range, or even if there is something in the foreground, you can choose to blur that too with short range, which I think is a cool feature. Overall blur is a bit redundant when you have the other two, but it's basically just doing both at the same time. In the Effects 1 tab, I usually don't touch the vignette. Unless you're looking to make sepia old-school Western type images, it's not that useful. Brightness I might use if I take photos in darker areas, typically inside, and sometimes the sun outside is too bright and you might want to darken it a little. But remember that this is affecting the brightness of the whole image, and not just the shadows. So outside the light and sunlit areas might become too bright if you turn it up. But one effect that I never use on any real photos ever, but that I consistently use all the time here, is the bloom effect. Everything just looks so much dreamier with this effect on, and straight up gives me Lord of the Rings vibes. And if it's daytime photos that look a little harsh, the bloom effect softens them up a bit and gives it that hazy glow, which looks really nice. But remember to use it sparingly, only a little bit of bloom, like almost all the way to the left, or else it can become too much. And that's it. That is what I mostly use in the 3 next tabs I never touch. But if you insist on hearing about it, Effects 2 has some color filters that are very ugly, and I don't recommend. There are better options out there on the wild web. Lens distortion and chromatic aberration is a bit more artsy, so if you want to go in that direction, you could play with that. Maybe if you think your character is high or something? And the 2 last tabs are just about frames, adding logos, and hiding and showing guides. Boring. So with that, you should now be fully equipped to take amazing, badass, cute pictures of your character in Dragon's Dogma 2. Let me know if this helped at all, and happy photo hunting. That's it. Vanoobie out.